Well, now we're going to make a pecan tart with our pâte brisée. Because remember, the pâte brisée can go either way, for a pie, as it is with the pumpkin, or in a tart pan, as we're doing now with the pecan. And you can notice here, I've got this bag and it's filled with ice and water. You know, it's getting pretty warm in the kitchen. We've been working here all day. And I want to make sure my board is nice and cold when I roll out my dough. Now, this board is too big to fit into the freezer, but no matter. Just a plastic baggie with some ice and water, about 15 minutes on there, and this is nice and chilled. So we're all ready to roll out our dough. Now, a little bit of flour. Rolling this out to a little less than a 1/4 inch in thickness. And there I have this beautiful dough circle. And here's my removable tart pan. You can see this bottom comes out when we want to plate our tart, and that's one of the differences between a tart and a pie. It's got these beautiful little flutings on the edge, and it's very decorative. That's because our tart is going to be able to come out of here and be cut on this, and we're going to be able to plate it. So people are going to see the edges, unlike a pie, which is usually served out of the pan itself. Now, for measuring purposes, I can just take this disc right out, and it's a very handy indicator for me of how big my shell needs to be, because I need to account for the edging there, and I want that to be a little thicker than it is on the bottom so it holds my crust and tart together. So all I'm going to do is come around here about 1.5 inches bigger than my circle insert. Again, saving these for treats or for decor. Again, I'm not getting into analysis paralysis over too big of a circle here, or too perfect of one. Beautiful. I'm going to put this down here, and you notice how much sturdier the pâte brisée is than the classic pastry crust because of that egg yolk in there. I'm going to put this and feel around with my hands that it's centered, and very carefully, using my thumbs, flipping up the edge. And putting that down into the corners there. My center is already down. Gravity has taken care of that for me. And now I'm ready to actually, remember before when we used this technique on the pie, the apple pie, now I'm using the side of the pan to give me these little shapes. I'm just going to come around once lightly to make sure that edge is in there, and then I'm going to fold over any extra crust that I might have. Just coming all the way over the edge there. Flush with the edge of the tart. And as you see there, I can now, a little firmer, drive that dough downward. And what I'm able to get then is a nice, stiff, decorative edge that's going to hold my baked tart together. And if you have a little area that's not quite as thick, remember, dough sticks to dough. You can just work that little piece in there so it's nice and uniform. Now's the time to take care of that. We want this tart to look its best. Make sure it's flush. Beautiful. So now that we have our crust aligned, we want to prick the bottom just in a few places. And then we're going to freeze this for a half an hour. And then we're going to blind bake it with our bean and foil technique again. And I have one already done for us along with our pecan tart filling. Jeannie, do you want to bring that over? Thank you very much. Thank you. So here we have the pâte brisée that was baked blind in the tart shell. And here we have our pecan mixture. Oh, good dive right in. This is my favorite pie. And there we go. We want to be very careful not to overfill this tart, because this is a very sugary, sticky filling. And if it goes over the sides and hard bakes in between those layers of the removable tart pan, it's going to be very difficult to separate. And we don't want that to ruin all of our hard work. So this goes into the oven, 325 degrees for about 25 or 30 minutes. Now, Jeannie's removed the pumpkin pie from this oven, so I'm going to go in here. I'm going to pull out my rack, and I'm going to very carefully set down that tart in the center. Now, with a pie like this that has so many variables involved, sugars, corn syrup, molasses, all that stuff in the recipe, I'm going to take this pan and slide it underneath there, so in case I get any boil over at all, it's not going to ruin the bottom of my stove, because that is a mess to clean up, that baked in sugar.